Jessica, coming to you, they really want to engage more with India as the leader of the global south, and this is something you could talk about. It is all about Prime Minister Modi's global standing also, because he being one of the few leaders who is engaged with both Russia as well as Ukraine recently.
Well, in a sense, yes. And if you look at his engagements in the past, there has been focus on the global south, as you pointed out, not just to India's G20 presidency, but otherwise as well. But looking at the current theatre that you know in your current neighborhood is, of course, one thing to mull on, because at this point, for India strategically as well, the kind of alternate axis power that is building up, which is, in Russia-China closeness, which has now led to a no limits friendship over the years, is if not threatening, but of course a point of concern for India and its security architecture, and not just for just for Asia, but in the long run as well, and how it would affect the entire Indo-Pacific region. And that perhaps is also one thing that India has kept in mind and planned its strategies and foreign policy all along. But at this point, this particular visit does not mean to counter that, but of course signals that India can add more to this visit than what many observers and commentators around the world have looked at. Global South, of course, being one of those. But if this particular security architecture is threatened with the Russia, China, and of course then being dwelling on a close friendship between North Korea and Iran, that particular nexus also sort of doesn't help at all. And India would know what it needs to do when a certain situation like that comes at its doorstep.
Okay, Jessica, before we leave you, if you could just once again quickly go through the engagements, take us through the engagements of the Prime Minister today in Ukraine.
Well, the Prime Minister just were paying homage at the Gandhi Memorial that you just saw a few moments ago, Sakal. And after that, as I pointed out earlier, he will be meeting the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky later in about an hour or so, as we're expecting, at his official residence, which is the Mariinsky Palace. After that, we can expect the bilateral talks to take place, and of course a statement as well. We're also given to understand that there could be a press briefing from the Ministry of External Affairs later in the afternoon, where details of what was discussed and how and what is being done to take this bilateral relationship forward will be mentioned to the press and to the world at large. So let's wait for that and see the kind of engagements that the two sides saw today.
And the statements that will come out. Jessica Taneja of DD India, thank you very much as of now.